This is Dan Dicks here reporting for Press for Truth. Do you guys remember the film Minority Report from like 22 years ago that depicted a time when the authorities could arrest somebody before they committed a crime? Because they were monitoring their thoughts and their activities, and they had the ability to predict when somebody might potentially commit a crime and then go in and arrest them before they could do it. Well, obviously that was just the stuff of, science fiction, like 22 years ago, but fast forward to today, ladies and gentlemen, and the Canadian government is trying to make this a reality with the introduction of Bill C-63. This is Canada's new sweeping online safety rules, they call it, and the Justice Minister is already defending house arrest powers for people who are feared to commit a hate crime in the future. So that didn't take that long, guys. We are already almost there. The long-awaited online HARMS bill proposes higher sentences for spreading hate online. Obviously, guys, this begs the question, who gets to decide what is so-called hateful content and what is not hateful content? Well, spoiler alert, ladies and gentlemen, the powers that ought not be will be using this legislation to protect the status quo moving forward, and it will have everything to do with that and nothing to do with protecting children, as they are going to claim to be the case moving forward, guys. So in this video, we're going to talk about all of this and much, much more. But really quickly, guys, before we do, I'd ask that you check me out here at pressfortruth.ca/donate. If you appreciate my efforts to bring you this information, here you can do PayPal, you can do Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies. You could sign up for a monthly recurring contribution by clicking there or by clicking over here. You could send an e-transfer to Dan at pressfortruth.ca, or you can send stuff to my P.O. box, guys. Thank you so much to everybody who does take time to contribute to my efforts here to bring you this information at Press for Truth. All right, guys, so as I said, this has been an agenda that's been in the works for a long, long time. There have been a lot of incremental moves all along the way over the past decade that I have been documenting, that I can show you how we've incrementally moved towards where we have just arrived today. So we can start this all the way back from my video in 2012, ACTA, Blueprint for the Global Takeover of the Internet. That, of course, was the anti-counterfeiting trade agreement that they tried to set up at the time, and then they shifted into SOPA, is another one I reported on, the Stop Online Piracy Act, which was another attempt to block the free flow of information online. And then we shifted into CISPA, which, as I reported, was the new SOPA. That, of course, was in the US, the Cyber Intelligence Sharing and Protection Act. And then getting back to Canada, we had the introduction of Bill C-10 and the Great Canadian Internet Firewall, as I reported on here. And then when Bill C-10 was passed in the House of Commons, I interviewed Maxime Bernier about this new hate speech bill. Then the Trudeau government ended up launching a digital charter to stop this so-called hate speech online. So you see how, this has been going on, over the years, and I've been documenting it. You got this from 2019, FTC to fine YouTubers $42,000 per video under COPA rules for kids. That was the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, which was going to require YouTubers legally to comply with COPA or else. Again, these are all small incremental moves. Many of them were blocked along the way, and then they would just, reintroduce it, rename it, call it something else, say it's all about protecting kids, try to get it reintroduced. Sometimes we defeat it, sometimes we wouldn't, but they were all incremental steps all along the way to lead us to this point of them being able to arrest somebody for, a hate crime before they actually commit it. Now, this is also something that I've been documenting that's been happening here in Canada. In case you didn't know, guys, I reported on this way back in 2017. Breaking, Vancouver Police are using prediction technology for pre-crime arrests. Yeah, back then, the Vancouver Police Department was making the fictional, concept of Minority Report a reality for Canadians, as they just became the first police force in all of Canada to implement new crime prediction technology. So, like I said, there really is nothing new about this. There was this as well. Canadian police are tracking people's negative behavior in a risk database. I put that one out as well. You guys can check all of this in the description below. I'll have links to everything that I show you here today. But in Canada, they've been working on this for quite some time. They've already have the technology that can detect this stuff, and then they have the negative behavior people being tracked in a risk database. Well, they've already had all this stuff set up, and now they're trying to get, put pen to paper to actually have this bill passed and have it made into a law so that they could actually start arresting people for hate crimes before they commit them. This is absolutely insane. So let's look at this, guys. Justice Minister Arif Virani has defended a new power in the online harms bill to impose house arrests on someone who is feared to commit a hate crime in the future, even if they have not yet done so already. It sounds so crazy to even be talking about this, like as if it's real life, but this isn't a science fiction movie. This is Trudeau's Canada. The person could be made to wear an electronic tag if the Attorney General requests it, or be ordered by a judge to remain at home, the bill says. Mr. Virani, who's the Attorney General, as well as the Justice Minister, said it is important that any peace bond be calibrated carefully, saying it would have to be met with a high threshold to apply. But he said the new power, which would require the Attorney General's approval, as well as the judge, could prove very, very important to be able to restrain the behaviors of someone with a track record of hateful behavior who may be targeting certain people or groups. Guys, in case you didn't know, the Press for Truth YouTube channel, which had 275,000 subscribers, was terminated by the powers that ought not be, the very same people who are setting up this type of legislation, largely because of some of the things that I would say about their so-called protected people and protected groups, and that is so-called transgender children. When I sit here and say on YouTube that there is no such thing as a transgender child, and children are beautiful creations of God that do not require surgery or cosmetics or drugs to try to correct them. There's nothing wrong with them. That is the kind of speech that they are going to determine to be hateful. And someone like myself could eventually be locked up for saying such a thing. That's what this is all leading to. So it's insane that they would suggest a lot of this is all about protecting children from harmful content online, when they are literally the ones who are pumping harmful content into the kids' minds at their schools with pornographic material in the books. I mean, here in British Columbia, they have a program called SOGI 123. It stands for Sexual Orientation and Gender Identity, which is taught to children as young as 5 years old in this province. So it has nothing to do with protecting children from this type of stuff, and it has everything to do with silencing voices like mine, like, as I said, that go against the so-called, status quo. If there's a genuine fear of an escalation, then an individual or a group can come forward and seek a peace bond against them and to prevent them from doing certain things. I've had people, people within that LGBTQ community who have tried to have me shut down before. They would contact certain sponsors of mine and say, hey, do you see the kind of stuff this guy is saying? Maybe you don't want to be a sponsor to him anymore. This is taking that and putting it on steroids and giving the government the ability to listen to these people and say, okay, let's shut them down so they don't hurt your feelings anymore. The peace bond could have conditions that include not being close to a synagogue or a mosque, he said, and it could also lead to restrictions on internet usage and behavior. This is crazy. That would help to de-radicalize people who are learning things online and acting out in the real world violently and sometimes fatally. Mr. Virani said the bill would strike a balance, though, and would mean that content that is awful but lawful would remain online. So they're trying to address the concerns of the censorship that we all know is going to be coming down the pike from this, by saying, hey, look, there's a lot of bad stuff out there, but this is not about the bad stuff. This is on a much higher level, he says. Bill C-63, is designed to curb the proliferation of hate online, but it also establishes a new hate crime offense, which would carry a maximum penalty of life imprisonment. That is if somebody decides that they want to invoke genocide, they could get life in prison for this. Mr. Virani said the hate crime offense would only be applied if coupled with another crime, and a life sentence would only apply in the most serious of cases. So, again, I think this is one of the most serious of bills that they're trying to introduce right now that the Canadians need to be concerned with. And on top of trying to criminalize voices and opinions like mine, the legislation would also seek to establish a 5-member digital safety commission to enforce these new rules. And I'm here to tell you there already is a 5-member, what do they call it, digital safety commission that is and has been enforcing these rules for a long, long time. If you guys haven't heard of the Five Eyes Alliance, now might be a good time to explain to you what that is. This, of course, is an alliance between the US, the United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, where they have agreed essentially into a collective spying agreement on the people of these countries, and they work with one another and share information. And this was kind of the first big step towards the Big Brother Orwellian surveillance control grid that is being set up under the guise and ruse of protecting children online. It's all about, blocking the free flow of information and preventing voices like mine from getting information like this out to people like you. So if you guys haven't seen my video and my major expose on the Five Eyes Echelon program, I want to leave you with this video that I made way back in 2018 called Watching the Watchers with Press for Truth in Ottawa, the Five Eyes Echelon Spy Grid Exposed. Because I think this will, give you a good primer into what we're dealing with here. And I hope I did a good job of showing you how there's been incremental steps all along the way. These are all designed to move us slowly but surely closer to this Big Brother Orwellian surveillance control grid. And as I said, the Five Eyes was one of the biggest steps that they made towards making this happen. So I want to leave you with that one today. Once again, I want to remind you that if you do appreciate my efforts to bring you all this information, don't forget to check me out at pressfortruth.ca/donate. You can check that top link in the description below. Once again, thank you so much to everybody who does take 2 minutes today to contribute to my efforts here at Press for Truth to bring you this information. And without further ado, guys, let me play for you this video I made a while ago now, Watching the Watchers with Press for Truth in Ottawa. This is the Five Eyes Echelon Spy Grid Exposed. Have you noticed that it has become completely normal to cover up the camera on your laptop these days? Well, that's because more and more people are waking up to the fact that they're being spied on by places like this here in Ottawa, Canada. We're here at the Leitrim Canadian Forces Station, which is tapped into the global echelon system of a spying network that taps into the Five Eyes. This is a global spying network that's made up of the United States, New Zealand, the UK, Canada, and Australia. Ever since Edward Snowden blew the whistle on the PRISM surveillance system, more and more people have been questioning just how deep the government spying program goes, and they're starting to take measures to protect themselves, like encrypted emails, encrypted apps for messaging, and also by blocking the cameras on your laptops. The system also taps into the NSA, the National Security Agency, which we now know is watching everything you are doing online, your Google searches. They can read your emails, they can listen to your telephone calls. In fact, every conversation you've had, every text message, every communication within the past decade at least is being held in databases such as these facilities like this one right here behind me. Have you noticed lately that it has become completely normal to cover up the camera on your laptop? Well, that's because more and more people are waking up to...
So sorry.
Oh.
Filming.
Yeah.
Sorry, I follow you.
No worries.
Like, are you kidding
Cool.
me? Press for Truth?
Yeah.
Thank you for all your work, everything you do.
Cool.
I appreciate it. I'm so upset with how the media is all biased on how everything goes. I follow you on YouTube. I watch every one of your videos. I'm a subscriber.
Cool.
I'm like, are you serious? You're on the side of the road. This is my daily route, and I thought I would stop and shake your hand. So
cool, man.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
for all
nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too.
Take care. We sometimes get recognized out here on the street, not just by the cameras, but sometimes by some of the people who have been watching us, because as I said, more and more people are waking up to the fact that they are being spied on, just like that guy who watches Press for Truth. Make no mistake about it, these giant satellite dishes behind me are not there for broadcasting the football game or the next UFC fight. No, these undoubtedly will eventually tie into the global 5G network, which again ties into this global surveillance system. Hi.
I'm sorry, do you have permission to take photographs here?
I didn't realize I needed permission to film here on this.
I do. Unfortunately, I think there is restrictions. This is a Department of Defense.
Okay, I saw the no trespassing signs on the other side of the road, so I figured the road's public property?
It is, but this is actually a sensitive area.
Okay.
So we typically restrict any kind of photography material on anywhere within the space.
Oh, okay. Even on public grounds?
Well, if you're taking shots on the base,
right,
it's frowned upon.
On the base, sure. Yeah, but from a public space.
If you're taking shots from here, it's still an issue.
Okay, so where's the boundary line that we can...
I think you actually need to get permission. And that's my understanding. I've made a call into our security, which make these type of decisions. I'm waiting their call.
Okay.
But ultimately, my next call is to the MPs.
The MPs?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Military police.
Oh, okay.
Because we do have a lot of restrictions there, and we do need to maintain the integrity of the security of this area. So typically, photography is frowned upon.
Okay.
So what is the nature of your photography, if you don't mind me asking?
We're with PFT, Press for Truth. We're doing a little report on this place.
PFT?
Yeah.
Okay. And that organization is something I can actually identify?
Yeah, it's online based. Yeah, you can look it up. It's Press for Truth.
Okay. And your name is, if you don't mind me asking?
My name's Dan.
Dan?
Yeah.
Last name?
Dicks.
Dicks?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't expect at this time, I don't expect there to be any significant issue, but there would have been a chance that your material would have been confiscated, and there still is that possibility.
Really?
Right now, this is an electronically sensitive base. No electronics are allowed within the premise of this base.
Okay.
That being said, when I had someone inform me that you were taking shots of the area,
mm-hmm.
That is a bit of a concern because it could potentially be a threat to our national security. Now, if you want, I can wait for the final ruling. I could be completely wrong, but that is my understanding.
About getting permission?
Yeah, well, no permission or even being able to shoot from here.
Right.
But that is my understanding. So I'm just going to wait for a call, and I'll give you some feedback if you'd like.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So but if I can ask you to refrain from taking any pictures until I understand it, it's okay.
Okay, so you'll let us know if it's okay
within
or not.
a few minutes.
Sure.
Perfect. Cool.
So, yeah, as you saw, We're apparently not allowed to film right here. They may have to go get security. I was just about to start educating the gentleman about the fact that it's sensitive. People are concerned about their safety as well because of this place. These guys inside can be concerned about their safety, but we're concerned about being spied on.
You've got someone coming down. They're going to talk to you. They'll know the ins and outs, and if there's any concerns, they'll be able to speak to you. That if there's any way in which you can get access to all this, to the.
Sorry, who's coming down?
Someone from our what's called the duty watch.
Duty watch.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, they're the military people responsible for internal security for this facility.
Okay.
So they know all the ins and outs of the rules. I'm responsible for access control for the most part, but also responsible for things that pop up like this where.
Sure.
But it
this
should be.
This person's here now, or?
Yeah, he's coming from one of the inside buildings. He'll be here in about 3 or 4 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. What's the nature of your story, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, we're just kind of checking it out at this point.
Checking what out?
The whole facility. Are you familiar with the Five Eyes program?
Yeah.
Tied into Echelon and things of that nature. Ever since the Edward Snowden revelations with the PRISM, a lot of people are concerned about government looking in and spying on people, and a lot of people cover up their laptops. That's kind of becoming a normal thing because they're concerned with facilities like this that watch people.
No, I understand, but I guess I can't speak on behalf of the Canadian Armed Forces, but I do understand that there's a need at some point to monitor things. Exactly what they're monitoring, I'm not given that type of information, but given the type of world that we live in, for defense of our country, there's certain things that have to be undertaken. Yeah,
as I understand it, though, certain.
You laughed at that. I'm curious. I'm wondering why.
I just find it a little rich that there's illegals crossing into our country without being vetted, and the possibility of ISIS members coming into our country through that border, and nobody's monitoring it.
Oh no, there's so many holes right now in our ability to protect. I'm just a common citizen. I haven't worked with the armed forces myself. But at the same time, these guys have got a tough job. There's so many ways we're being attacked. It's not just about physical attacks nowadays. Information is the new weapon. Mm-hmm. So
they have rules and they can't step outside of certain boundaries, like monitor the Canadian people. As I understand it, it's supposed to be an international system, but I think this is being abused. But that's why we're here to investigate.
Yeah, I can't speak to that. At the end of the day, I'm just responsible for the security of the facility. I am aware of the nature of the program. I do recognize the value of it. So my job is to keep the integrity. Hi, sir.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. I just got the phone call.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Hi,
these gentlemen are from
Dan.
PFT.
Hi, Dan
Okay.
Dicks.
Nice to meet you. Okay.
So what's up? He said you wanted to talk to us.
No, I just got the phone call. So just wondering, so PFT public?
Press for Truth. It's
Press for Truth,
Press for Truth. Yeah.
So I'm going to have to, unless the commissioner has already taken everything, but because of this facility and with the signs, et cetera, that this is not your normal everyday area for taking photos. It's a controlled access area.
Right. I was under the understanding that the other side of the roads was the trespassing area and that the road is public property.
Well, when you get here there, sir, yes. Here you got it's freedom of access and everything.
This is public property, right? That we're standing on right now.
It's technically government property. Once you pass that sign there, sir.
Okay.
See? So when you're on that highway there, that's public property.
Right.
It's all taxpayer property, but now that you're in a controlled access area, sir.
Right.
Photos, hey, that's fine, right? But you should not be taking photos of these. But it would be nice to know, ID cards, etc., or whatnot.
Yeah.
Because this is a controlled area, right, sir?
Okay. Yeah, I didn't think. Well, there weren't any signs saying we couldn't be here. We saw the no trespassing, and we were like, oh, we better not go beyond that. So, figured we were okay on the public area. Because when you think about it, like those houses over there,
I know, sir.
couldn't they be zooming in and filming this?
Yes,
but
but
you
that's
would have
their private property, right?
Right.
Whereas you're physically here, that's the difference, right, sir?
Right. I
Well,
understand.
as long as you stay back over there, that's fine, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, we appreciate it. He was expressing his concerns, and we were expressing some of ours.
Yeah.
Yeah. With
Yeah.
Canadians being spied on and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
The Five Eyes
Sure.
networks kind of potentially abusing their abilities. As I understand, it's supposed to be an international program.
Well, sir, that's above my pay grade.
Right.
Just at this level right now,
Right.
I can understand my commissionaire's concern. No one's called ahead, public affairs from the military. No one's contacted the military public affairs to contact us.
Okay.
You can see where the concern is, right, sir? That there's
Okay.
people with cameras,
Yeah.
you know.
All right. Well, we will get off the property then, and yeah, thanks for explaining it.
Oh, not a problem, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Take care.
Thank you, sir.
Well, it's not liked when they are being watched. They don't appreciate it when we have the eyeballs on them. Isn't that interesting and funny? But hopefully we woke some of these guys up to what they are potentially doing, and maybe they'll think twice about their career choice. We all want truth. The truth will set you free.